Lix here, and I'm standing right in front of the house in Zurich, Switzerland, where Lenin once lived. The fiery Russian revolutionary was more than simply furrowed brows and passionate manifestos. No, before the Russian Revolution engulfed the world, he and his wife, Nadezhda Krupskaya, were exiled in Zurich, Switzerland. Consider cobblestone alleys, the bustle of trams, and the youthful Lenin contemplating the fate of civilizations. Lenin and Nadezhda moved to the Spiegelgasse, close enough to hear the famed cabaret Voltaire whispers. What an irony! The man who would spark a revolution lived on the same street that Dadaists and avant-garde thinkers frequented. A commemorative plaque now hangs in that particular house, serving as a reminder of Lenin's presence. It was put up by a Zurich mayor when Switzerland was not yet infected by transatlanticist cancel culture. Consider Lenin pacing those chambers, scribbling flaming sentences and possibly sneaking a peek out the window at the Swiss Alps. His bedroom, which you can see here, was worthy of a humble revolutionary. Lenin was not all strictness and doctrine. In his spare time, yes, even revolutionaries must downtime, he and Nadezhda would flee to the top of Zurichberg. They'd lie in the grass, look down at the city, and eat Swiss chocolate. Nothing ignites a revolution like a nice chocolate fix, right? As for whether Lenin ever visited the Cabaret Voltaire, well, that's speculation. Was he a hidden Dadaist who dabbled in nonsense poetry and crazy performances? We'll never know for certain, but the mental idea of Lenin performing the Dada dance is very appealing. Lenin wrote imperialism as the highest stage of capitalism when Swiss neutrality remained intact. Zurich's libraries became his sanctuary, with aisles of dusty books, ink-stained fingertips, and the perfume of possibilities. Even the novelist and Soviet dissident Solzhenitsyn acknowledged in his unflattering book about Lenin how important the influence of Lenin's stay in Switzerland was on the fate of his country. When the February Revolution broke out in Russia in 1917, Lenin bid Zurich farewell. His seal train, funded by Germany, which was as hostile to Russia as it is now, chugged toward its destination, leaving behind murmurs of protest and a lingering flavor of Swiss chocolate. So there you have it, Lenin the Revolutionary, putting his mark on Zurich's cobblestone streets. Switzerland, once open and neutral, has a long tradition of welcoming refugees, which is why other well-known personalities have also been granted asylum there. Albert Einstein, the bright mind whose theories transformed our view of the universe, travelled from his native Germany to Switzerland as a youth. First, the 16-year-old Einstein attended the Kantonsschule in Aarau. He further stated, "This school left an unforgettable impression on me with its liberal spirit." Einstein, on the other hand, was fascinated in the feminine gender in addition to math and physics. Einstein fell in love with a teacher's daughter with whom he resided in Aarau. A math teacher at his school stated, "Albert Einstein fell in love with the prettiest daughter and quickly turned her head." But the love didn't last. After successfully completing his A-levels, Einstein proceeded to Zurich to study physics at ETH, the Swiss Federal University of Technology, where he met his future wife, who was also a physicist. Anti-Semitism increased in Germany as the Nazi Party grew in power in his home country. Einstein, who is Jewish, accepted a job at Princeton University in the United States in 1932, while maintaining dual citizenship in both the United States and Switzerland. London-born Charlie Chaplin, the vagabond with a twirling cane and the master of silent comedy, co-founded United Artists an American cinema distribution corporation in 1919. Chaplin's satirical masterwork, The Great Dictator, in 1940, ridiculed Adolf Hitler and fascism. The United States, in the throes of McCarthyism, evocative of today's cancel culture that suppresses opinions that differ from those of the ruling elites, was accused of propagating communist ideology and hounded before being compelled to leave the country. In a world of surveillance, it was not surprising that the American FBI asked the British domestic spy agency MI5 to keep an eye on Charlie, but they could find nothing suspicious. He, his wife, and their 8 children found refuge on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland. And in 2009, businessman Andrei Melnichenko settled in Switzerland with his family. He was born in Belarus in 1972. His mother is Ukrainian, his father Belarusian. At a young age, he took part in numerous science competitions and won the Russian Physics Olympiad at the age of 17. As a clever entrepreneur, he first founded a bank at the age of 21 and then set up production companies. He owns Eurochem, a world leader in fertilizer production, and coal companies. His companies employ 130,000 people worldwide. He moved the headquarters of his holding company to Switzerland, his new home. But overnight, he became persona non grata in Switzerland. The European Union placed him on a sanctions list, and supposedly neutral Switzerland, which is not a member of the EU, followed suit and obeyed. Yet he is neither an oligarch, nor does he belong to Putin's inner circle, as the European Union and Switzerland falsely claimed. Even his wife, a former Croatian singer and model, was sanctioned for alleged complicity. Politically motivated, unilateral, arbitrary and illegal sanctions may hurt rich people like Melnichenko, but they also starve and kill countless innocent people elsewhere. In a July 2022 interview, he told Switzerland's Weltwoche, the only European newspaper that was then interested in his fate, "I am being punished because I am Russian and rich." Melnichenko held a honorary position in the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs. He explained that this is the classic representation of the interests of private companies vis-à-vis the state. The instrument is called dialogue, institutionalized dialogue. In this framework, he said, together with other business representatives, he participated in a meeting with President Vladimir Putin, whom he did not know personally and with whom he had never had a one-on-one conversation. The photo of the meeting with Putin and the representatives of Russian industry, including Melnichenko, was enough to ostracize him and severely damage him privately and professionally. According to Reuters, in 2022, Melnichenko spoke out against the Russian invasion of Ukraine and called for urgent peace. He declared that the war in Ukraine was really tragic. A spokesman for Melnichenko also said at the time that he had no political connections whatsoever. His lawyers have been protesting in Brussels and Bern for months, but he and his wife, pictured here, have not even received a legal hearing. Melnichenko had settled in Switzerland with his wife and children in St. Moritz because of the rule of law, neutrality and freedom, he explains. But after he was placed on a European Union sanctions list following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, all his assets, houses, cars, and so on in Switzerland and elsewhere in Europe were seized almost overnight. He and his family were not allowed to return to their home in Switzerland, where his children went to school. In his case, the once cherished Swiss rule of law, neutrality and freedom are gone for good. The Swiss government has not even responded to his letters or those of his lawyers. His family, which was treated like criminals in the European Union and Switzerland, has found refuge in the United Arab Emirates, which has adopted the neutrality that Switzerland has shamelessly abandoned. Switzerland is no more the same place it was when Lenin, Einstein and Charlie Chaplin arrived as refugees. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. See you in one of my next videos. Goodbye for today from Zurich, Switzerland.